And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to CSGO. It is ESL Pro League Week 2, Day 2, and game number 4. Nailed it. Right, Yanko. Okay, it's Overpass coming up. It is Virtus.Pro up against Dignitas. Virtus.Pro just shit the bed and lost 16-5. It was a destruction on Mirage. There was no way of buttering this one up. Are they going to do the same again on Overpass?
Yes.
That's it. We're over to the casters.
We go to the casters now. I mean,
job done.
As we touched on it briefly in the post game of the previous map, I mean, it's just the way the performance from both teams, the way it goes. Now, I feel that it doesn't matter on which map they play right now. Dignitas is the better team right now, and then that's all there is to it.
Is it down to, like, we were talking about, obviously, with Fnatic, talking about the confidence that the players have? I mean, Dignitas are on a bit of a high right now. They've just had some good LAN performances. Is it that confidence that they're just oozing right now? I mean, they're all young, hungry players.
Probably. I think that's a big factor in CS in general. I mean, confidence, the psychological aspect of the game, and so on. They got a couple of big wins against Tier 1 teams as well, and it certainly gave a lot of confidence to players like Kirby, who's been getting a lot of flag for being that talent for a whole year, but not performing on LANs and so on. So I think that's a big factor, and also they're just playing really good Counter-Strike.
It's a good breakthrough moment as well. I mean, you look at Tensky. Tensky's been around for a couple of years. He's been almost getting to those teams, and then every time he gets there, the team sort of shatters apart or something like that. Rubino, I guess you could put in the same vein. Config, of course, he was obviously SK briefly for a while, and now he's over there. It seems like they've just like nurtured all these little young Danish talents together, and finally they're all flourishing at once.
Definitely, and with MSL's leadership, they seem to mesh really well, and they seem to have found that chemistry. Now the only question is for how long will it last, and will they be able to improve to maybe break through into that top echelon of Counter-Strike right now? Are they going to stick at this level, or are they going to fumble after some time?
And it's also been a problem of the Danish scene is, can they stick together? They do tend to have a nucleus problem of exploding at times, but they're in a proper organisation this time. They're not like how many times you see Danish teams merge together and become some random Danish named team.
Yeah, but I think it's because they have so much talent in the scene. It's just if something doesn't work, there are so many good players. Let's just pick someone else and see if he's gonna fit and so on. But I think they realize that the importance of role players as well.
What is it that's getting these players from Denmark? Because we were talking about this the other day. Like all the new young talent is coming from Denmark. It's like you'd expect it, like Sweden, etc. But you haven't seen any of these new Swedish players coming through. There's no British players in there. Come on, where's the Serbians? That's what I want to know.
Come on, Lee. This is a serious show. Let's not
bring UK into Counter-Strike.
Please no.
Henry will be here tomorrow. He can do that for us. He can pull that one down. But speaking of young talents, you look towards Snacks and Bialy. They were the young talents brought into Virtus.Pro. They were the guys that were giving it that new oomph. It's, nearly 2 years on now, I guess, since they've been there. They were bottom down the board yesterday. They were bottom down the board against Fnatic. Is there a new drive of hunger required from these guys? Is the start of maybe a little... what's the word I'm after? Where they're just getting tired of it? I mean, we talked about this the other day, about the passion.
It's really hard to pinpoint what's wrong with VP right now. It's not that it's something cardinally wrong with their gameplay and so on. It's just, in my opinion, a lot of small things going wrong for them. Lack of coordination here and there, paired with a couple of bad decisions and lackluster performances from individual players. And I think that also speaks to how competitive the scene is right now in general, when a team like VP with so many great players, because of a number of these maybe small mistakes, they just keep getting crushed pretty much by everyone.
So how do you fix this problem? How do you fix the problem that the Virtus.Pro currently have? Because they went through probably last year a good 3 quarters of it non-stop doing events. Clearly burnt them out a bit. They had themselves that big break. That's backfired on them now. So where do you find this medium?
I mean, it's hard to tell from the outside because of the way VP functions as a team. Like what you mentioned at the beginning of 2015, they had that couple of weeks. They were on the road, dropping out of tournaments, and then out of nowhere they win the ACA, beating Fnatic in 2 best of 3s even. I think, and no one would expect it, but somehow they managed to do it. Whatever it is, they have to do it as a team. There's nothing, some individual. Even if Snack steps up, starts playing better, I mean, it's not the, it's not going to resolve their problems right now. I just think that they need to settle down a bit. Remember that they are a great team, that they have great players, that they have been performing historically, they have been winning tournaments, of course, that they can compete at this level. Just remember that, work on those small mistakes. I think that they're also getting probably a bit nervous, maybe even, tilted a bit, because of course they realize what the mistakes are and what's happening, and it can get frustrating is the real word.
I mean,
they're getting frustrated.
That's something that NIP obviously talked about when they were having their problems. I mean, you could argue there still are. Obviously, the confidence not to go for the peaks, but we'll see how it works out for them. Overpass is going to be the map, ladies and gentlemen.
And on Overpass in particular, VP has been historically really good on Overpass against, let's say, Tier 2 teams. They've been really good at just crushing other teams, not being upset on a map like Overpass. So, okay, Dignitas is now on the rise, but let's see if VP can now, on this map in particular, show their...
try them no-respect plays.
Yeah.
So just get the aggressive plays in there.
Exactly.
We'll see how it works out, ladies and gentlemen. It's Dignitas up against Virtus.Pro, and it's going to be Pansy and Sadokest.
Thank you once again. And yeah, I think this could be a very telling point between these two teams if it's just, Dignitas playing out of their mind, playing really well, or if this is actually a bit of a downturn coming in from Virtus.Pro. I think this is, we've seen some of their core strengths today against a team that on paper you'd expect good results from, maybe a close game, but should be their victory. So this could be pretty telling.
Yeah, I think that there's no question there's a slump from Virtus.Pro. But I think that's been emphasized by the fact that Dignitas definitely are playing a really good game. I think it is definitely a bit of both. The more surprising one to me, Dignitas has been doing this for him for a little bit. The more surprising one to me is VP just not finding anything at all.
Well, VP will get a choice of
They do find
side.
a knife round, yeah. Though, let's be positive, right? That's the first step forward.
Very small baby
Just
steps.
16 more to go, guys.
You got this. But yeah, it is Overpass coming up between these two, and as Janko said, historically, Virtus.Pro, a real stronghold for them against top-tier teams, not just, your farming teams. They can compete with the very best. Now, Dignitas have been on the upswing. They've been picking up results left, right, and center, getting to pretty ridiculously good stages during even offline events. So it's not just this online presence. They've been converting that into a couple of events. Let's see if they can bring it on a map that we know Virtus.Pro can play on, and we're already live into this one.
Snacks is already forward as well toward this position at the statue. He's got Pasha with him, so good forward stance to get blood drawn early on the pistol round. They're going to continue forward as well and try and flank out the players that have gone long. That draws the attention of two Dignitas players, Tensky being one of them. He's found a kill. Problem is that Snacks overstays his welcome, and the other two switch back from long into the bathrooms, and they completely cordon off his position. Neo's got to fight back against it. Can't be win at that duel. Means now it's just 3 players left alive on the server, 2 of them on the Dignitas side.
Config is low. I guess there's a silver lining to that. Bialy's going to go for the peak. He does pick up Kievi, who was the better off player out of the 2 remaining. And now it's just down to Config. The angle's correct. Can he catch out Bialy here? They're walking around each other, but Bialy knows where the bomb is. It's a ring of roses right now between these two. Config just behind him. Who's going to see each other first? It's Config who gets the shot. 4 HP. Be it a Deagle, be it a Tech 9, he gets the job done, and that's the first round on the board for Dignitas.
Yep. Not exactly what Virtus.Pro would have liked, having gotten those initial picks out toward that long position, but it was a great response again for Dignitas to get that mid-round call, and they were fast, they had a plan, and they adapted to it. So, winning the duels, 1-0 Dignitas C side. Now, interestingly enough as well, they've gone for 2 AKs and 3 SMGs, and I have to agree with the AK buys. I think they're actually going to be the ones to look for the initial picks because just the long angles on this map. Pasha's already out toward the flower pot right now in particular, so if you get an AK in that position, MSL, if he wanted to take a few more steps over to his left, that's a hugely favorable angle. Mind you, Pasha does have the scouts, so he has to be slightly careful of that position.
Yeah, I like the way VP have brought a lot of nades to the table as well, looking to do a little bit of damage, maybe setting up the likes of Pasha and Neo with the P250 there, the 5.7 Bialy. There's a lot of capability for damage in this one, but as you said, Dignitas utilizing the rifles early on to clear those longer range angles, then allow the SMGs to come through in those closer range quarters where you can kind of clear them out a lot easier with maybe the Mac 10s or the P90. But then again, Dignitas taking their time, being very careful on this one. Don't want to walk into a stack, don't want to get caught out or damaged up too early, which is exactly what Virtus.Pro will be looking for. If they get the information as to where these players are, that nade stack will be coming through thick and fast. So Dignitas need to be relatively cautious on this, but they are taking their time here. 50 seconds left.
Now start their approach. Pasha jumping beyond the back of the van, looks for information, gets spots up one, but only one flashed as well, and he's going to be surrounded before he even gets his vision back, and dead already. Rubino with the kill, the P90. As Taz just going to burrow his way onto the balcony and just hold the angle, because there's no point giving away any more frag money. There's no point attempting back into this round. Exactly that. Config picks up 600 for a single kill on Snacks with the SMG.
So much money to be raked in here in this round if they do find these guys. You can see it. The SMG players just piling through. Config desperate to find these kills, but Bialy's tucks himself in a nice angle, but Config adjusts just as he started to fly over, and he does pick it up. So really Virtus.Pro not getting away with much here, but Neo's desperate to stay alive. He does have the head armor as well, so I think he's just been spotted too. So hopefully he can just avoid this as best he can. He's going to try and make a mad dash for it, and Taz just about playing it carefully enough that he might be able to stave off the wolves, as Dignitas will keep all 5 alive, all armored up, all set to go, and Virtus.Pro once again kind of left just staring at the round trickling away from them. So 2-0 to Dignitas. Clean stuff in the second, which is going to make up that rather kind of close first round.
Oh yeah, and then not a need to upgrade anything. They can sit back, again, farm up this SMG. Sure, Rubino obviously enjoys the P90. He won't get as much cash for it, but they'll easily be able to upgrade when the time comes. And Virtus.Pro, it's round 3, but still have head armor on Neo and Tess from the previous, and then some nades to work with to add complements to what they saved. So Tensky waits for the flames to extinguish on the stairwell, and he'll cover off all the peculiar and unexpected sneaky little angles that the pistols might find themselves in. Better safe than sorry.
And again,
that's what my mom always told me.
She sounds like a fine lady.
She's alright.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh. Mama kissed. What a cutie. But still, looking pretty similar from Dignitas. The one thing is Pasha's got himself a little bit behind them, but not by much. But it looks like they are going to work their way towards the A site, where a couple of players will be waiting. Snacks, Tags, Bialy not too far behind, but playing quite the cautious game here. 5 alive on both sides. In the Alps plant, Config's found Bialy, and all hell breaks loose as Config somehow just picks up 3 out of nowhere. Rush, the worst observer in the world, just misses that. And now Pasha lost alive. God, Rush. Doesn't even say sorry these days.
Rush, more like. Pasha's going to go down. It's Rubino with that final frag as well. So they do pick up 3 big kills on Config again, letting that SMG farm. He's got 10K, and we're on round 4. That's the benefit of just holding on to those. And the point, so this is the other thing. All right, we'll stick with those. Okay, all right. I said that, and then they change it. But you can stick. Stop it, Dignitas. I was going to say you can afford now, because they've got so many rounds in hand, to just stick with the SMGs. If they lose this one, it gives Virtus.Pro a round. Sure, they buy into the next. Virtus.Pro economy is still weak. You reset them early on, and that's sort of where this debate I've had with a few people is right now, that sometimes it's worth it to take the risk and have the less advantaged weapons to play the long game, because if you lose that and reset them, then you get potentially up to 8-1 if the momentum goes the right way. So
and you do see a lot of the French teams, especially Envious, really kind of buying into that practice, but Dignitas maybe not that confident just yet to bank on it. They have left at least one player on towards the P90, so that's still into play, but outside of that, we've got rifles all around, and a couple of mollies still to hand, so people like Pasha could be in trouble if he sits in these sort of angles, but so far yet to be tested. As Dignitas, they do like to take their time on this map, it seems. They're not quite, the fast and heavy in this one at all. So taking their time, being a little cautious, seeing what they're coming up against, and trying to get that utility, the limited utility, bearing in mind, away from Virtus.Pro.
Snacks. Smoke out in front of the bathroom. He's going to try and take advantage of a slight clipping, and it does spot up the barrel of at least one AK, and he knows he's blind, so he just snaps around and hopes for the best. He did secure at least 1 kill, though. That gives Pasha the confidence to go out and secure another, as Neo will come into the picture as well. Takes down Garby. Never rule out Config. We saw already what he can do with a Deagle. He's brought this dead back even. There's not 2 versus 2. Taz, though, is already snuck by the bank. They're not ready. This is a 2 kill for Taz. Should be a 2 kill for Taz, and Bialy will get it nonetheless. It's an assist. I'll call it close enough. But it's the round for Virtus.Pro. And again, Dignitas do still have awesome money, so the same situation can occur. But if they'd stuck with SMGs there, they'd be in an even better position moving forward.
Yeah, and I even recall going back to when it was kind of the 4 rifles, 1 Tech 9 that you saw with kind of Envy, occasionally Titan back then doing it, because you're more than likely to lose out on one player on the T side, so it's easier just to pick up that rifle as well and put it back into play. Especially on Dust 2, you'd see them running a hell of a lot. So kind of still certainly showing itself here, but Snacks is the one trying to get up aggressive. Again, he did this before and it didn't work so well, but not going to be sticking around for too long that time. Molly out and back away, just going to try and get some early presence. Slow down Dignitas. They can be a little more cautious, but Dignitas throwing caution to the wind, trying to get their presence up on a long, whereas Neo is going to be probably keeping his eye toward that as Snacks boosting up with Pasha there by the bathrooms. Just going to try and look over the tip of it. And now, again, Dignitas need to work their way out here and try and find a way in. That is certainly a great start.
That's one way to get it rolling is Pasha. They'll slide over to the left, cover off the front of bathrooms, let the scout come into the play, and Neo does makes no mistake about it. Takes the head clean off config. That'll give them more security inside the site. Smoke out it long as well means there can be no approach, and as such, they're already looking to rotate Dignitas back over toward B. Dignitas had Rubino and Tensky there the entirety of this round, anchoring the monster tunnel, so they at least have some read that there isn't too much aggression going on, too much information garnering, but they don't have exactly the right information as to what is waiting inside the site because Bialy was poised. He takes down at least one at MSL, and now that comes up to Taz on the jungle position, but he's not going to get anything. Rubino with that kill. It's a long rotation still for Pasha and Neo, so this works well for them.
Yeah, but Pasha doesn't care. He's going straight in on this one. Tensky gets caught up. Can't get the follow-up, though. Now she's down to Neo. The scout suddenly feels like it's the worst gun in the world to have to hand, and Kievi's going to find him real comfortably. And Dignitas just switching up the pace, and those two left standing just made absolute mincemeat of Virtus.Pro, and sadly for the retake from the VP squad, it just didn't pay off. So once again, we're going to be seeing the buyout coming out from Dignitas. I wonder if Tensky's been dropped down. I'm not sure if he has. He has been indeed. But Virtus.Pro, on the other hand, really struggling. Going to go for the full buy-up into this one with just the CZs, the 5.7s, and try and make something out of it. Because once again, this is not looking good for Virtus.Pro.
They were in double eco potential territory anyway. Yeah, because, I mean, they were only going to get 1,400 at the end of that last round. They'll get 19 in this. So going for the pistols and the rush as well, the TSM eco style as they go up and catch out config. So
and they recovered the rifle too.
Yeah, well, just that further smoke as well at the top of the stairway means as soon as they get that kill, it does hold them off. It gives them that availability. But Bialy into Kirby to follow that up. Gun still in the hands of Taz, but Bialy goes down. Taz is going to use it. There it is. So huge play for them to make.
And MSL's kind of struggling here. He can't comfortably cross back out of the area he's in because Snacks could be watching it. He knows at least Taz is here. He's got to wait for Rubino to come around and hopefully dig him out of the situation, but Virtus.Pro can still fall back now. They're in that great spot. But then again, they only have one of those recovered rifles. They can't quite get the rest. So they have to play these angles as best they can. They're going to pop the rifle up on long with Taz, but Snacks and Neo are going to just try and hold close, I imagine, as Dignitas now have 50 seconds to work something out of this.
And Snacks wants to try and push the underpass position and get in toward the ladder. That actually takes him further away right now from where Dignitas are going. But Taz, being smart, is going to burrow. It's going to be him versus two, though, because there's no rotation. Snacks is slowly doing Snacks things. He is slowly getting on that lurk to catch them out from behind, but Taz is going to face this and already goes down.
The one bonus being Snacks took that time. He did get the rifle in the end, so that's one piece in the puzzle that might go in their favor. The smoke comes in not quite ideally where they'd want to. Rubino now needs to cover that off actively, but both of the Virtus.Pro players going to play from the retake coming in from that T side of the map here. But then again, only Neo's got what, a P250 and a flash, but it's Snacks who's the danger man. He finds MSL, and now it's Rubino in a 1v2.
Bomb planted in his favor as well because he knew the aggression would be coming from behind them. Snacks going to go ahead and tap that immediately. Neo's going to try and hold the angle, and Snacks actually gets off it himself and takes care of business. So they will get the defuse. Virtus.Pro, great. I have to say, a really great initiative to say, all right, we're facing a double eco. Let's just throw this caution to the wind here. We'll push middle and catch off Dignitas, and that actually brings them right back into the game because it hurts the economy fairly significantly of Dignitas. Yes, okay, they've got this round in hand, but it does get a lot closer in the fact that if they win this, they'll break them immediately and bring it back to 4-3, what potentially could have been with the double eco situation, a 6-1 scenario.
Yeah, it's so easy to spiral in this, and credit to Virtus.Pro, Bialy as well being such a big player into that round as well. Taz picking up the slack when required, but again, it's relentless going out from Virtus.Pro. They want this. Snacks pushing up again, going to be looking to get a little bit closer, play towards those tunnel side of things, get the little pop flash out, turn that one, but no one's quite there. It's a big play coming out from Dignitas, and Pasha finds all three. Config, MSL, and Kievi get sent packing as now the last two remaining players of Dignitas need to reevaluate things. They're walking into this aggressive Virtus.Pro, and they really shouldn't be losing out in these situations.
Yeah, Virtus.Pro is really good at this map. When they get this kind of aggression rolling and it goes unanswered, Dignitas is going to start to crumble a little bit under this. They have to find a way to shut it down initially. But what that also means is if you're calculating that aggression, if they know it's coming, then it also means expending utility away from the site that you won't have on execution. So it's a fine line, a fine balance to find. Pasha's already pushed out toward the rock, watching out toward Playground. Dignitas, Tensky already spotting that. He'll have other plans instead. But Rubino, seemingly away from the action, does get a kill that could still pay dividends as Taz goes down Forces VP to have to rotate at least one player back over to B and forfeit that bomb position at the top of middle.
Really important kill then from Reno. As you noted, there was no one near B, so they have to now fall back a little more passively. It's opened up opportunities, but then again, Virtus.Pro is still certainly in control here. They can put one player onto one side, stack two onto the other, and just play jump off as to where they seem to feel the Dignitas boys will be going. But at this point, Dig have so much ground to cover. The bomb is still loose. They're yet to find that. They've got to clear these corners because you don't know if Virtus.Pro is still pushed up. They didn't know the weight of just taking down one player there, but they're still going to try and fall off the back, and it's going to be towards Snacks.
And that seems like something weird to do, to give up bomb when you have it down, but the big factor in that is, where was Rubino going to come from? Was he going to push all the way through spawn or not? Snacks is going to hold it when they arrive. And they had to calculate that. If they just fall back and play turtle in the site, that's fine. They still have the man advantage. They can afford to do that. Whereas if they stay and they get clever and find a crossfire, they'll get one or two picks and recover the bomb, and then they have to run to play a retake. It gets out of hand. So I actually really like that call from Virtus.Pro. And it pays off. So now 2 rounds in a row, they've broken the economy of the T side much quicker based on that very, very clever push with the pistols than it would have been expected. They'll go for Tech 9s and MSL. They've got the CZ on Rubino. Armor only for MSL, along with a single smoke and flash to work with. He's going to go. This is aggressive. They know they've got the stairwell covered off, so they're just going to pinch out Snacks and Pasha. So once again, Dignitas showing that they're completely on the same page in terms of execution.
This is getting deadly, though. Once again, the scout's out for Neo, and not what you'll be using when the players are literally pouring towards the site. MSL's broken through, and now you've got a bomb plant coming in. They're going to recover some guns, and then get set up for this. Not ideal for config, but still. This is getting worrying now. Virtus.Pro should be able to pull this off if they play it right, but Tag's coming through, and MSL closes it out as well. Now it's just Taz alive.
MSL getting that last kill means Taz has to consider things. They did well to get them back into it, we just finished saying, and then a round like this hits them. Taz does get the first. He's more than capable. The oldest player active in the pro scene, has tons of experience, but it's not enough to fool that of Rubino, who will go ahead and put him into the grave. Gently, my sweet prince, as it goes to 5-3, but not so gentle in the fact that they don't have money.
Yeah, Virtus.Pro absolutely skin. Absolutely skin. CZs, maybe P250, but they really can't afford too much here. And for Dignitas, swings and roundabouts, they're back in control with a little bit of money to spare as well. And I'm wondering how they try and maybe, get over the fact that there's such aggression coming out from Virtus.Pro into those buy rounds. But for now, it's going to see if they can plow through at this point. As the Molly's going to come in and try and clear these corners. But it is a 4-play stack coming out from Virtus.Pro on towards the site. That flash, though, is perfect. And MSL is going to rain in fire. That is perfect play coming through from Dignitas. There's now just Neo left on the site. He's trying to do everything he can. He's got the gun to hand, but not much to be achieved here. Snacks is around the back.
Yeah, he's going to try and just do what he can with this single P250. Gun that was dropped is inside of the site, so we won't be able to get to that for free. As the bomb goes down in the hands of MSL, and Kierby going to walk out, needs to be aware of this. Needs to make sure he doesn't walk into Snacks. He nearly does, but Snacks doesn't land a shot, so Kierby will secure it 6-3. And again, just focusing on the economy aspect, it suddenly looks good again for Dignitas as it started to slip away. VP will be able to buy regardless, as it is a 2-round loss bonus, and they sat at around the average about 2,500 in the last, so they got 19 in this one. But it's a round in hand again for the terrorists, so Virtus.Pro is definitely making it hard for themselves, despite that it looked like they really finally had a handle in this game just 2 rounds ago.
But it's been this guy, Snacks, and Bialy pretty much pushing up with Pasha. Now, Snacks is already adjusting around from what worked previously, maybe trying to expect what Dignitas were going to do back to him, but then again, Pasha holding his push off as well. It will allow Snacks to just focus in one direction, but while this happens, Dignitas work up long, and already Tensky gets down Taz, and you're going to see Pasha cleared out.
As well, Snacks, though, does get back into one. Config! There's something in his config. The guy's accuracy is just ridiculous. Another great kill. Bialy, though, does respawn. Kirby and Config both go down, and they have bomb at the top of middle. However, it's the same situation where they have to figure out if they want to hold it. It is just one to go against them, so it's not like a crossfire or trade potential is something that might haunt them. And in fact, they're just going to line this up. So as soon as Bialy gets faced, Neo's there to fire in with him and potentially double. The one thing they could kill him is just a straight AK bullet if they lined it up, but thankfully that doesn't happen, and Bialy will take Rubino.
Yeah, Bialy and Snacks having a great game, and considering Pasha was the player who went down, there was also playing right beside them. That could have been pretty deadly if maybe Bialy didn't have that sort of round. Could have all spiraled apart, and he got 4 kills then just to secure that one through, but still, 4-6, Virtus.Pro starting to pick up a couple of rounds now. Not looking so weak and weary. Dignitas not yet really finding a concrete way to handle that aggression coming out from Virtus.Pro, but again, Neo, the one pushing forward this time, going to be trying to get the information early on. The nades come out towards the fountain, but doesn't catch too much of a glimpse here. And it's going to be Pasha up on who turns the flash, but he can't get the shot off. Kiebi opens things up, and it's going to be a race towards the site here, unless Dignitas hammer on the brakes, because Virtus.Pro is still pushed up pretty far.
Yeah, big time. Pat Snacks will have information in his ears on the fact that 3-player have passed into long, but they're going to play this in reverse. Neo's going to turn back at the precipice of the site. He's going to have to come up large and in charge, though, but that flash catches him off perfectly. And Kirby and Tensky are able to 2 kills unanswered. Config finds Taz. He was the only hope to get back in, and Bialy late on the rotation. As one set of stairs lit fully into flames, and another that's going to be stared down. There's the obvious set of approach. In fact, worse than that, it's going to be completely covered off by smoke. Saving grace is that no bomb plant has happened, but it still doesn't really fancy his chances of trying to push through and deny that. And again, the situation is grim in terms of money. It's only 1 round for them, none against, so it won't be much to give. He's going to go down. They're going to be on another save.
I don't know what's just gone into Dignitas, whether it's just kind of trying to get the challenge down along, kind of ignoring anyone pushing up aggressively as much as possible. But it's starting to work out. Now, Pasha's been caught out a good couple of times playing that sort of spot. If Bialy or Snacks can't bail him out of it, it's kind of been a bit of a one-sided show there. And as you said, money is absolutely disastrous. They're, you know, barely breaking into 2K. So Dignitas last time they were in this sort of predicament, just hammered it through to B. 4 players, pushing through right now, but Tensky holding the rotate as well, and Taz is going to be met with a lot of bodies. He does at least find one. Config goes down, but by this point, Virtus.Pro know what they're up against, and it's a long way to run.
It's taking Snacks to start things off in the underpass position, as well as now Pasha's going to try and come in from behind and catch him off guard. He actually does, even though Tensky was waiting. That's an AK grabbed, but MSL already trying to catch Pasha, who just gets up the rabbit hole and gets away. Alice is no longer in Wonderland. Yeah, we probably need a moment. That was bad.
That was special. It was special.
That's a fantastic word to describe my entire life.
In only positive manners. So Pasha does at least get to keep the gun. Bialy doesn't get any such luck. Yeah, he finds him, and Pasha's just like trying to get away from this, but slowly but surely MSL's closing in, but makes a little bit too much noise there, and they can't be pick up for Pasha. But an expensive round against Dignitas here, but a round nevertheless, and at this conjuncture, it's not looking good for V-Pro. As Ring of Roses begins again, and Pasha will just hit the brakes and try and stay alive in the smoke. Kievi's left kind of wondering what happened then, but it doesn't matter. Still, only what, 4.4k is the highest. You got a recovered rifle on Pasha, so they're going to try and supplement it as best they can here, but it's still looking pretty dire for these guys.
Yeah, it's not at all looking positive in the outright. I'm curious to see if they can get that aggression to work in their favor again. It seems like Dignitas has figured out and is starting to expect Snacks to be there, but he's going to go for the full face this time. Full peek over top of the smoke. He's a little bit late and spraying into it. All that does is serve to give away to Dignitas. Now the 3 players going out toward Park that he's going to be in a forward stance, but are they going to expect him to be staring down at long? Quick Molotov, or rather nade in on top of him because they know he's going to be there, and exactly that. MSL's figured it out. Thanks so much for giving it away, telegraphing it, and we've calculated where Pasha is as well. What they don't account for is the fact that finally there's a 3rd player on this A side, and Neo's going to slow things considerably by getting the response kill, furthering that onto Rubino, and a good transfer on Tensky as well. It's all down now to Kirby at long, and Neo saving around with 3 very important kills. Kirby on only 12 HP. It's not looking good for him.
I thought it would take all 3 players to close down. In the end, it only took 1, and that was Neo with those 3 coming in. And Kiebi, 12 HP. Bomb not too far away. He can certainly maybe recover that, but Taz just sprays in until he gets it done, and there we go. Virtus.Pro keeping it at least to hand, 5-8 at the moment. And Dignitas well and truly able to buy, but it was all Neo. Let's be honest here, this guy has been playing brilliantly, dealing with those players pushing through toilets as well, handling them at long as well. It's just a brilliant display from that man. So, Neo actually on the AWP this time, so something is a little bit of a new approach there, and I wonder if that's a smoke to go over towards the tunnels. I can imagine it might be, not too sure then from Neo. But in the end, Dignitas once again trying to test the waters over by B. These quick hits have been working, to be fair.
Marcel tries to get through the smoke fast, but has had a similar idea on the opposing side of it to sit and hold, and there's a wall of smoke set. Him finding that first kill, and them not being able to distill Bialy at the slope position means that It's shut down, and that was very clever from Taz. Up above the smoke, manages to calculate exactly where Rubino was trying to hide with that bomb inside of it as he looked to get back inside the monster tunnel, and that drops bomb. VP finally looking to lock things down once more. Snacks makes it now 8-6. More importantly, they string 2 consecutive rounds together and force the hand of the terrorists, who will go for the quasi-buy. They're going to try and rely, obviously round 15, force out what they can, but rely specifically on these 2 AKs and a Tech 9 on Kierby to be the utility player. Importantly and crucially, I've lost game sounds, maybe it's just the replay, but we've got 4 smokes to work with on this Dignitas side.
Yeah, hopefully they have a piece in mind, but then again, Virtus.Pro, something that we've seen work for them very well, the aggression again, and it's not really been worked out by Dignitas. They tried to play towards long. Neo already had enough of that. Pasha still push up, as is everyone, and actually Config's got Neo down, but can they handle Pasha standing tall? Yes, they can. Kierby's already broken through. There we go. That's 2 back-to-back. Now in a 3v2. Dignitas have the upper hand. They've just caught a glimpse of Taz on the side, so they know there's one player here. Bialy's going to be en route, and already Config finds him.
Absolutely smart start. Bialy now 1 versus 3. Has the lineup to shut down default. Drops bomb as well. Minute 15, though, still to go. Position given up. Molotov on top of that bomb will buy a little bit more time, but they're going to run through the flames because it's only about 2 seconds they've got to go through to grab that said bomb. Cleverly, they're not actually going to run back to the B site, as Bialy might expect. Smartly, though, he's also not going to overreact and just hold his composure and wait toward this A site. And the confrontation will arrive. Good early peek from Bialy. He takes the fight initially just to get the information, and then the accuracy pays off. But Config's going to hold this, and Bialy needs to be a little bit careful because it is an AWP. Config, he only legs him up. Bialy, get out of there. Don't even bother. Get the smoke out. Buy yourself more space in this utility. 30 seconds now to go. And he's going to play the angle to his favor with the AK. Does he spot his foot? Not quite.
5 HP left for Bialy. 25 seconds for Config. He's got the bomb. He's got Deagle in an AWP. And that's all that matters. Bialy adjusting perfectly. Lovely hold on towards the site. And the scoreline ends up a lot closer than it felt overall. Virtus.Pro just about clawing it back to 7 rounds to their favor. Dignitas still toward the lead with 8, but I don't know what to make of that. Virtus.Pro's aggression finally paid off. Them pushing up always into their face was absolutely perfect.
That was really well done by Bialy as well. Again, he got a little bit like he got lagged and not taken down by Config.
Sincere.
But very smart to just get away from it. Make the play with the time in his favor, work in his favor altogether. So I have to say Virtus.Pro, they did well to control things, considering that could have spiraled really badly with the money situation. At the same time, it is only going to be 7 rounds for them on a CT side, and I haven't exactly been impressed by their T side in the first game tonight. It's been an issue this year. Their coordination's definitely off. Like Yanko said, though, this is a map that does favor them. They are, I would say, one of the best, if not the best, B take in the world.
Yep.
And that'll be an indication. If that B take with the smokes on the window and the wall inside of the site starts to fail them, then that just says that they're definitely not at all where they should be as a team.
There's a lot of question marks around Virtus.Pro right now, and I'm hoping we get a couple of answers from it. Of course, these are online games. There is always that level of how much they give away, but in the end of the day, they can't afford to be dropping these games, especially now.
Yeah, they're going to go down 0-6. I mean, I know this is really early in the season still, but it's an extremely, extremely important league for every team that's involved in it, and to be in that situation this early, as Yanko also highlighted, losing specifically games to FaZe, who's potentially one of the people that's going to be battling for the same spot, It becomes impossible almost to win the deficits. That's, you always say you lose a head-to-head. It's like giving them 2 games, in hand as opposed to 1 that you could have won. So it's going to be, they're going to have to pretty much win out the season if they go down 0-6 right now.
Well, let's remind ourselves, throughout the entirety of the last season online, TSM and Fnatic only dropped, what, 5 and 4 games. So, that's what you're looking at. These top-tier teams will be locking in wins and losses of that sort of record. But still, back into the game, we do have the first round coming in of the second half here. 8-7 is the scoreline. Dignitas now on the CT side. T side is Virtus.Pro, and you see Neo being that utility player, hitting up the flash and the smoke. And they wait ever so patiently to make their play. Pasha so far back. Snacks as well, taking his time, but Virtus.Pro certainly not showing their hand so far.
So let's see what Bialy and Taz can find out in this position. Rubino jumping on the balconies, just waiting for any further aggression toward that construction. Single smoke in the hands of Neo, who right now is way back by the disco, back toward T-spawn with the bomb.
Do you know that song's from Portal?
The one that's playing in this? Is it really? I've never actually gone over to listen to it.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in myself. I love Portal. Have you played it in 3D yet on the Oculus or
No.
on the HTC Vive?
Is it good?
Oh, Gladys is scary in person.
In person. Oh, it's like you're making friends.
I don't make friends. I try. I just don't.
10 points for effort. But yeah, wait and see what Virtus.Pro do with this round. They still have that smoke and flash in the hands of Neo, and he's not really in the normal spot to be using these. Maybe just going to be putting it right down on the face of things, but they're just walking into this one, and they're all pushing towards the side. The observing then was special, and the bomb will be planted as Neo and Bialy last two alive, and we missed everything, but Config did get the last 2 kills. We're not going to let Rush eat tonight.
The interesting thing with that is they lost one player in the bathrooms initially, and they had 2 players trying to lurk. But rather than wait to show the second player, which might confirm, okay, we got 1 pick, there's a second one here. Let's see, get an early rotation. Let's see if they are going to go away. They instantly went on B. So the lurk failed. The rotations hadn't happened, and then they rushed in and got blinded up there. I would have liked to see them slow that just a little bit, having not won that lurk duel on the A site. But it does give Dignitas now the 9-7 score with the SMGs coming up. No bomb plant as well, so they know the situation. Sure, there'll be a force in this round, but again, there won't be rifles in the third round. So just the one FAMAS and M4 to support these 3 decisions. Again, Rubino going for the P90, so very much a preference for him.
And the only issue being that the players on long are the ones who have the rifles here, Kiebi and MSL. Both players keeping tabs towards that are the ones with rifles to hand. Going to smoke it out, just kind of ignore it, try and negate that presence for a touch and see if they can single out some other players. And I think they just got a glimpse. A couple of players dancing in between, and MSL trying to adjust, can't get it. Taz actually does punish him, but that gun not quite as recoverable as maybe they'd hoped. Virtus.Pro still looking towards it.
Interestingly, Config and Tensky elected to rotate back through the stairs. I would have liked Config to push through construction and lock down the stairwell behind them so they can contain Virtus.Pro, and there's no surprise element from these pistols. Either way, they are going to work in toward the A site. One thing they don't account for is giving up that gun to Bialy, and he manages to take advantage of it straight away. Takes down Tensky. It's traded by Kirby in the end, and Neo, the last alive. They'll be able to grab that M4 up as well and keep at least one of the rifle. I don't know they'll make it to the FAMAS in time, and they don't. So they actually did lose one of the 2 rifles.
A little bit sloppy from MSL, but then again, that was the play from Virtus.Pro to try and bait out the shots and then pick up if anyone did go for it. But out of all the players, it was MSL who did get caught on that. But then again, we're going to be seeing them coming in with 3 rifles this time. Of course, the one kept from prior, 2 more invested, and the SMG with Config there and the P90 with Rubinho. Something we're seeing is a very common thing for this guy. He is that P90 player that we all do despise at times. But Virtus.Pro, P250, 2 flashes, and that is your lot. Maybe going to try and, if they get a gun away, perfect. If they do any sort of damage, a bomb plant at best. That'd be absolutely brilliant, but so far it looks as though they might run into the loving arms of MSL and Kiebi at this point.
Speaking of running him down, I just on my screen watched Bialy walk into his teammate for about 5 seconds, but Kiebi, he's got 2 kills in front of the bathrooms. MSL's there to support. He'll go down eventually, but MSL trades it with Snacks. Bialy, though, still managing to keep this alive. And a bit more interesting, and now they'll recover all 3 of the rifles in this particular round, and that means they'll take the opportunity to upgrade the other 2 and be fully equipped. Mind you, that said, Kirby's not exactly in a perfect position money-wise, so... Alright, they did drop it out. They'll be fine. AWP in play as well. MSL is going to have it immediately in his spawn. I wouldn't be surprised at all he goes for the fast pick at the fountain.
I kind of hope he does. We saw how well that worked for Virtus.Pro in the first half. This could be a really nice touch in towards the second for Dignitas. MSL going straight to the stairs, not going for the little boost up. Going to get an absolute face full of information. 3 players spotted then. Going to back away instantly towards long. Try and get a slightly more passive angle on this one and wait to see if anyone actually does push it. They are all there. They're trying to not spot out on that, but he does find Neo, and he does tag out Pasha as well. This is a disaster, and finally gets punished, but by now, where's the rest of Dignitas? Kievi's still waiting behind.
I have no idea why Neo takes that face. There's 2 guys behind him with a flashbang. You know the op was already up pushing fountain. The very next spot he's going to be, and most likely it's going to be is that connector. Throw a flash, let Neo peek that, and I mean, that could have been a 1-0 trade instead of a 1-for-1, so... Kierby, very clever, very sneaky, gets one, doesn't secure the kill on Taz, and he reacts accordingly, so that actually turns out all right for Virtus.Pro, but that could have been an absolute disaster as well. Great shot from Taz spawning Tensky above the APC. Well read, well executed. Now they have got the man advantage. How quickly that could have changed. Kierby secures that kill. It's 2 that go the other way instead as Taz survives and surpasses death.
And maybe Taz just needs to be primary all-pro with that sort of foresight coming out when he peeked towards the boost up at the back there. But is Config left alive, the clutch master himself, before Bialy and Taz this time have to run the gauntlet. He's got a molly and a flash to work with, spots out Taz, but he actually takes down Taz. That's a bomb loose now. He's going to solo out one of the angles Bialy can push from, flash it over, doesn't catch Bialy though. Now Bialy smokes down one, a little bit too deep there. Actually, Config goes and takes the peek, and Config Config gets it again! This guy's clutching capability is unreal right now, playing perfectly, gets the AWP as well back, and just small mistakes from Virtus.Pro really costing them so many rounds.
I mean, this is super impressive. I mean, it talks about Kierby and his contribution to the team is really, yeah, sure, he leads right now on 19 frags, tied with that of Config nonetheless. And I was about to say the impact of Config, though, has been astounding throughout the evening. I think that's the biggest surprise with this rise in form with Dignitas, is that the players that we've kind of always been like, okay, they've got potential, it's finally being realized, and that's massive. Good little nade out toward the short pipe, but Bialy, despite going down on 20 HP, is going to walk in and not get spotted up by an initial jump toward that plywood position. They'll slow things down considerably in construction, and Pasha's going to try and anchor out toward Monster. Config, meanwhile, has gone off stage right when you try and enter, so he'll be slightly unorthodox for them when they do arrive. Not only that, he's got to line up towards sandbags where Tensky's already looking.
Really nice counter flashes holding the rest of Virtus.Pro back. So already Neo goes down. Config's having a whale of time. Why don't just keep running at him, guys, because he's not going to stop. Config having a brilliant hold down as well, just singling out the players, and Virtus.Pro just walking in one by one, going to make it easy for Dignitas. No bomb plant to sight, and Dignitas having the right players in the right places, but VP back on the buy now. No AWP to be seen, of course, yet really to be put to use at this point, but MSL going to be sitting on that one, and the money's getting fantastic from these guys.
Yeah, it is getting really good now. This is a similar start to what we saw in the first half, and problem is now they're only 3 rounds away from the finish line, too, so it gets high-pressure situation for Virtus.Pro, who do have rifles in this round, and a full loss round bonus accumulated against them. Should be all right in the next for a force, but with limited utility if they don't get a bomb plant in this. So, obviously, more importantly, as always, go for the win, Lauren. I always make it sound like I'm discounting that option. I'm not.
It's like, it's your last chance. Maybe you can do it. Go for the victory. But no, Dignitas on the verge of something great here. Already the peek out coming in, the double stack towards that kind of peek from B going to pay off. But Virtus.Pro on the rotate, but you can see the one player who was pushing up was Pasha, got found by MSL, so Neo with the bombs. Oh, what? Tensky! Did that go through to...
That just nailed Snacks, who was just outside of the squeaky door.
Oh, that's gutting.
Just inside of the squeaky door, actually, as you've looked at his corpse.
I'd be so
That's
mad.
incredible. This is a good play from Gun Spotted. Very well done from Neo to just slow that down. Gun Spotted, Kirby could have had him dead to rights. Keeps it alive around slightly, but that was pretty impressive stuff to fire through that wooden wall and take advantage of that duel. MSL missing the shot up close, shuffles out toward the front of bathrooms instead, but Neo getting that kill now means they can walk toward the site, and Tensky's still in the rotation. Rubino's low on HP. Taz hits another beautiful shot. This is suddenly doable. A 5 versus 2 down to a 2 versus 2. As Taz continues to fire in the smoke, but they don't account for Config on the flank. Somehow hitting Taz, though. You'd think he'd be lined up to catch Neo in the post plant, but he manages to shuffle out toward long. Wins the duel as well. Knows Tensky's coming out from that angle at bank, and Neo's going to nail it nonetheless.
4 kills for Neo. Huge round from the classics. Him and Taz doing the heavy lifting that round, keeping Virtus.Pro with a chance of this. But then again, that bank isn't too bad from Dignitas. They can still recover here. Couple of drops left, right, and center, and they'll be back onto place. But Virtus.Pro saved in that one by Neo. What a brilliant stuff from him.
Well, that will chisel away slightly into the bank accounts of Dignitas. Hasn't smashed the pig just yet, but it does mean Virtus.Pro can keep guns in this one, and an AWP on Pasha. They've gone back to their main man. Taz gonna try. Oh, Config just had to stood still for one more step. They would have had him, and he actually dinked up Bialy on the second shot as well, so he had the confidence to reface. Fortunately, the trades do come back, and Virtus.Pro gets it back to a 3 versus 3 right away. 1 kill from Snacks and another from Neo. But they're still committed right now to this monster position because the bomb is just to the right of Pasha. He's got to get it.
He has to get in there and he can't hit the shot. He's doing everything else. He's going to bulldoze it towards the side. Tensky's waiting so patiently for it as well, but Snacks trades it out. But Tensky again keeping things in favor to the CT side as now it's down to Neo. You went so big before. Don't tell me you can do it again. Bomb just to the left. Kiev so far away as well. They're playing this at the time, just letting him take control of the site here. He's got the bomb. He's got 50 seconds still and 1 flash, but he spots out one. Tensky gets absolutely eviscerated, and now in a 1v1, Kiev has to keep this one to hand. He's going to know exactly where he's coming from, but does Kiev find? Oh my god, Neo!
2 in a row. 2 huge ones in a row, and he single-handedly now has forced the economy of Team Dignitas.
How much can one man be asked to do at this point? It's unreal.
think that scoreboard also paints a pretty crazy picture because I mentioned that Kierby and Config were tied on 19. Kierby's done nothing since that, I think that was about 4 rounds ago, and Config's up to 27 now, so he is single-handedly holding it down on the CT side, but Neo, with only 15 frags, has had 5 very, very important ones over the last 2 rounds. Pasha's going to find 2 with the AWPs. These pistols, they try and take the same play that Virtus.Pro did to them in the first half and go for a fast rush. So far, it may actually be working as it comes back to 2 versus 2, and it's Config again with the last kill on Taz.
Jesus Christ, they've even got an AK as well, and the tags are coming out from Config. He's got him low. The flashes are there, but Tensky falls. Snacks finally keeps it together, but surely he can't do any more. No. Pasha slows it down, gets the kills. But Dignitas are making this so much hard work for Virtus.Pro to even bring back close.
That's pretty nuts that you do all this good work, Neo does everything, and then they almost throw it away just like that, get caught off guard. And they had the early picks on that too, that was the surprising, but as you noted, getting that AK up definitely was a stressful situation to be in. And it's straight back to all M4s on Dignitas' side. They've got 5 smokes. None thrown out early on Monster, though, and Taz might try and take advantage of this. It's just a nade instead. Does do decent damage, do him down 30, but he'll walk in and undetected so far. He's going to try and take advantage of this as well. Config manages Bialy, but Taz slides back up, gets a trade immediately, spots at least, or thinks he does, one player going into water, but Snacks beats him to it, and Tensky goes down. He's got a great forward position as well to hold off to get the bomb plant in.
Virtus.Pro have just been hitting this B site hard and doing it so damn well as well. MSL and Kierby are so far out of this round they can do nothing about it. But Virtus.Pro have just been working it out. Bearing in mind, the one player who's been holding it down has been Config as well. That's really credit to Virtus.Pro and their abilities as well. Neo keeping up these clutches, but MSL trying to get out of this, and Neo's on the hunt as well. This could get a lot worse. Neo could find these 2 quite easily. MSL's going to run past, line it up, and now Kierby has 10 HP. He's going to smoke it out, which will give away his spot here. But would Neo dare to walk through that?
I mean, the way he's been doing things the last few rounds, I think he actually thought he walked through it there. It was pre-firing into the corner. He didn't quite go far enough, but that's awkward. Kierby run. Kierby run, not going to run fast enough. And it's going to be 13-11. With guns not in the hands of the counter-terrorist Virtus.Pro. I mean, Neo literally single-handedly has turned this game and given them a real chance at this.
Because even looking at the scoreboard, he wasn't doing that well prior to these recent kind of clutches and outstanding performances. He has just gone on the upswing at the moment and just started to close out these rounds. I don't know how the hell he's doing it, but certainly makes it look good. So now a 3-2 play coming out from Dignitas. They have very little to do in this one. Bialy's Molly's already going to find 1, so really Dignitas just looking for any opportunity to get some guns away. As so far, Virtus.Pro's play coming towards this later stage of this map is starting to become way more refined and much more to the caliber of what I'd hope to see from a team like Virtus.Pro, but already you can see the likes of MSL and Kierby so far ahead, but there's Bialy waiting to catch both of these guys.
Yeah, they're going to try and beat them to the punch, though, on this A take right now. Config got to the stairwell, but now is blinded, smoked. He might actually use it to his advantage, though. He's going to push through. There's an interesting boost if he had a second guy you can do behind that van that would have let him see over top of all the smokes in the site, but there's no one there to help him. Do it! He does spot Taz, though! Just on the cusp of it. I didn't even think he could see through it. Tensky equals that fate with a deagle on the other side. Anything you can do, well, I could do better, but Config says, no, you can't, because I've got 2 now, and that makes the round extremely close, but Pasha's had enough. He's going to close it, and it will go 13-12.
Config absolutely terrifies me as a player. This guy, what the hell is going on with him and that deagle? Tensky even got like a glimmer of hope off the back of it. I don't understand what this is coming out from that young man. Huge plays, but will it be big enough to close out this game? 13-12 now, back on the bye here for Dignitas. A big round coming in for both sides. Pasha on the AWP, MSL on the AWP as well for Dignitas. And he's going to be getting himself down towards long, going to go for that opening pick, and Pasha doing just the same thing. So these two might actually face off at some conjuncture, but not quite yet, as Virtus.Pro's generally 1 rounds have been coming out from these B hits. So if they do start switching that, we might see an issue come through, but thus far they have fairly clear run towards that A site.
Taz is going to try and check the corners as well as he makes the most aggressive motion so far for his team. Keep in mind those 2 players at long. So he's going to get to A. I think it's relatively open. Does spot one on the site now and slows, and that actually almost could be a good thing here. Mind you, Dignitas isn't exactly rotating back. I was going to say they could get pinched and locked and have a flank from the stairwell at mid, and then 2 players coming back from A. It gets really, really awkward when you're stuck inside that A site, but as I say, that one little initial exchange keeps Taz out of it. They pulled the two back, and now it's just a straight-up brawl on entry. So far favoring Dignitas as Tensky takes down Taz and Kirby finds Snacks.
Everyone from Dignitas knowing exactly what was up. Bialy's going to have to go and do the heavy lifting this time, but has no chance in hell as Rubinho takes the shot. And that's Dignitas taking that ever so important round. 14-12 now. 2 away from a massive pickup for them in the overall league. They need this, bearing in mind this is their first debut as well to the Pro League this season. And they've certainly come out swinging, already picking up that first map pretty comfortably. But this one a little bit more dragged out, but not over yet if we've been going into the, let's say, the potential that Neo can bring to, to this server at least. But they're going back to what was working, seemingly hitting that B site and very passive hold. And I think a stack actually towards the back of site, quite possibly coming through. Yeah, it is indeed. As Config in a lovely position, if we can have a little look over to him. Just peering over this site, and he's going to have a full bird's eye view of what's coming his way. He's actually sticking it out as well. Maybe staying out a little bit too long in that, but he does get everything he needs to know what's coming his way.
And no smoke means Pasha. All right, well, that works. They'll throw one for him. He'll throw one back. His goes a little bit too deep, though. Rubino had a chance. Not a chance when Pasha gets the kill instead. Another boost. They're going to try the same thing with MSL as he gets the AWP up above. It's Kirby instead, though. And the retake already looking quite strong. They've got the man advantage. What they don't account for is Snack's forward position, and that kind of slows things considerably as Kirby left with only 15 HP. Flash over, Snack's locked to the corner, not yet found, and has his vision back in time to turn it around. He's got both as well in Virtus.Pro. They're not going to let this get out of hand after coming so close and fighting back so far.
And look at the money on Dignitas. It's pretty shot at the moment. 4.1k on Kirby, but no one else really sitting all that close. 3.5 towards Tensky, but everyone else suffering this. Maybe a couple of pistols dropped, possibly if they really want to go for something here. But in the end of the day, it's looking good. And look at this play from Snacks. He was just like, Neo, don't worry, I got this time. I got you, buddy. And I don't know how the hell he gets away with that. And the adjustment, well, bearing in mind Kirby was low. Just a nice closer from Snacks. And Dignitas going to be pushing up. But again, Virtus.Pro proving these B hits are so damn good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This time it's gifted to them because they try that push down mid again. Virtus.Pro says, nah, I don't think we'll not take that invitation twice. So Kirby, last alive now in the underpass. Gonna try and pop up in an opportune moment from behind the terrorists and get a gun potentially. And if he goes to his right, which he will do, Pasha is low enough that this actually could work out. 5 HP on Pasha, in fact. So it wouldn't take much to grab an AK from him, but you gotta hit the shot to make that happen.
Is what it is, right? So, Pasha picking up 4. Nice and clean for him. And now 14-14. Dignitas being put through their paces here. Virtus.Pro just turning up the heat in the final throws of this map. And we could be going to overtime for the way this looks. Or Virtus.Pro could just close this one out if they keep up at the pace they're going. And Config going for the buy-in as well towards the SMG. I don't know what he's going to be doing with that. Especially on this B side where Virtus.Pro have been so proficient at hitting. But then again, this isn't the start they've been going for when they do hit that B play.
Snacks is just evaluating as well to make sure no one's going to push through that smoke that's now placed on the bathroom. It's MSL that is inside of it, but he's too wise to foolishly throw his life away like such. So Snacks a little Molotov will try and force him back further, but no one's yet been spotted.
Dignitas seems so sure that they're going to hit the B site. They're so certain of it, but Virtus.Pro just switching it up on a dime.
And that's exactly it, because Config and Tensky are way far away from a rotation position as well. So if VP can find this execution quick enough, it'll really catch Dignitas off guard. Kirby, though, he's going to actually go by Snacks getting through that smoke, and Bialy's not paying attention to it. He thinks that's clean. So there's a good chance for Kirby to actually find at least one kill in the bathrooms.
This is strange. Dignitas have some control here. Virtus.Pro have some control on the other sides of the map. But Virtus.Pro didn't make the most of having that big advantage of, having the drop on Dignitas for quite some time. Now slowing it down. Dignitas have adjusted, but Bialy does find Kirby, so that was one player push out of place. But Rubino trying to pick up the slack. He gets completely caught off guard by Bialy again. And now here comes a play. Virtus.Pro plowing in towards the site. Config having to save the day again, but this time only armed with an SMG.
That SMG, though, it's going to be enough as he hits Neo again. Not surprising. And how does Tensky come into the fold? With the M4, he's going to hold it all together, and it's 15-14 now in favor of Dignitas when Virtus.Pro a chance for a free kick with the economy on that round as well. They've got more than enough to buy. It's actually going to still be a tighter position for the Dignitas side to be in. So it's Rubino onto a P90 and Config. I'm not going to doubt this guy with any weapon. Has the MP7 to play with.
How the hell can he get away with that? I really don't understand. Absolutely unbelievable stuff. But then again, Virtus.Pro, in the back of their minds, they've got to expect a B now. If they think we're going to close, it's got to be a B play. And again, Dignitas put in players on toward B, but Virtus.Pro playing the slow takeover towards that kind of playground, taking their time, trying to clear out these corners. And every time they've done this, it's really not worked out very well, but a slow rotate could catch off Dignitas if they start reading into it. So it's all down to mind games now, 15-14.
So we do go the distance in Virtus.Pro, despite losing all 5 previous attempts so far in the season. Finally, in a game as MSL down below. Looks confusing on the radar. He's going to hear Paz now going by as he pre-fires into that position. This is going to be a free kill. Snacks gets that first shot on Caribbean. I thought that was going to happen before he could do anything about it. Good awareness from MSL, though. Turns back and Bialy thinks, all right, he's committed. That's a free kill, and it turns out to go against him. And Dignitas now with the man advantage. I was about to say late mid-round nonetheless, but late in the game with point on the line. Neo looks to try and enter. And the smoke's going to cut off the rotations as well.
MSL's waiting to go around the back here, just bearing in mind the 3 other players are just playing by bank. Bomb almost goes down, but you can see Dignitas trying to go back in the play, but here comes a retake, and the SMGs start ripping them to shreds, and Virtus.Pro, they saw victory. They saw it. They almost had it, but in the end, my God, Dignitas.
That's heartbreaking, and the fact that Neo gave them an absolute real chance, and they have to recognize that was all individual performance. There was still some issues. Yes, their B take, it looked like it was kind of there. They were getting into the site on multiple occasions, but man, Config on that CT side went from like 17 kills at the half. I think he finished, it was something like 31.
Oh, easily.
Yeah,
easily
more than that. Like, that's insane. That's just a ridiculously good half. He's by far the player of the 2 matches for me, both maps.
100%.
But, I mean, the bigger storyline, obviously, the analysts will get into some of the nitty-gritty of the match, but 0-6 for Virtus.Pro to start off the season, it's not looking good already.
Yeah, that's a real shambles of affairs for them. Hopefully for their sake they can put it together, but you said you wanted to hear from the analysis guys, so I think we can head over there and hear from them themselves.
Thank you very much, guys. And yeah, Config, wow. I think he actually ended up with like 36 or 37 kills in the end there. That was incredible stuff. But what a game. Back and forward action. My notes just went wild. They're just like everywhere now. I ended up starting to run out of paper and to start jot everywhere. But where do we start with that one? Okay, let's try and rewind a little bit. Let's go right back to round 1. That little weird pistol that they did. It was Dignitas that were playing on the T side, and they went up long. And Virtus.Pro got kind of around them, and they corralled them in a perfect position. And then they just kind of like I don't know. It just went horribly wrong for them.
It should have been ideal for VP in a sense that, they were going for that stack towards that part of the map, and they caught Dignitas a bit off guard, but they just couldn't get the kills. And in the end, it was a 1v1 with Bialy and Config. Config with only 4 HP, but getting a good timing there and shooting Bialy in the back. And it all starts from there. It was similar on Mirage as well. VP got off to a really bad start. They were losing, and then they win a round, and the next round again, Dignitas just resets their money system basically. Even though VP managed to win a force buy as well to get things rolling again, then they proceeded to losing an anti-eco round. When Dignitas didn't even force up, they just had a couple of pistols. The guys who had more money maybe bought Kevlar only, and VP just threw a couple of rounds away.
Well, that was the story of the first half. You saw it was going to be Virtus.Pro back in that usual situation. They start trading back and forward, and then they started losing out. And then they ended up losing the first half 8-7. So it was pretty close. It was back and forward.
Yeah, mostly because of Bialy. He played really well towards that part of the half.
He had that 1v3. He got a 4K a couple of rounds before it. Then he had that crazy 1v3, which honestly you shouldn't win those situations.
At times, it seems to me on Overpass, particularly that when we get to that 2v5 from Taz and Neo, I think Dignitas got a bit complacent there. They were playing recklessly, picking for no reason, overextending and such. And I think in my opinion, it would be better for them. It would be better for them if they lost this game. They would have learned a really important lesson right there, that you should never think that the game is over until it is actually over, especially against players like VP, the guys who are really experienced and have made amazing comebacks in the past. So it was because of them mostly. It was because of Dignitas that the game ended up being so close, and of course Neo taking advantage and the other VP players taking advantage of those small windows of opportunity that Dignitas gave them.
Taz the Orpa. Taz the Orpa
Taz
now.
apparently is the next hopper for VP, seems.
Well, I mean, they like to rotate them down. But Neo, straight away, they do that 5v2. And then the next round, he's called upon again, gets another 2v1. The experience is clearly there. Clearly that they have it in them. But they did come up against Config, who seemingly with whatever gun he had was landing shots.
I mean, again, a similar thing happens as on Mirage. That one round where he got the 2 kills with the SMG, I think it was actually a 2v4 at that point, because he gets 2 kills with the SMG and then Tensky runs in and gets the last 2 kills with the M4 as well. You know, the VP at its prime, you would rarely see them, you know, allow those situations to happen. Even when people have better equipment, let alone with an SMG.
Yeah, and I remember actually Sadicus was saying, "Oh, but he's only got the SMG." And he just went brr, brr, just straight down. And my SMG sound is amazing, by the way.
That kid is nuts, by the way. I mean, he's just nuts.
It's just young talent.
He's like, you can see that his game sense is also good. The way he plays those clutches, you can see how he uses, you know, the death cam as well, and the new death cam. You know, he fakes it for a little bit, and then just goes really quickly to another position. In that 1v2 where Taz had the op and low HP, you saw him, like, he caught them completely off guard.
Yeah, you do have a lot of people that tend to have all aim, no brain. But no, he has everything. He actually seems to be the complete package. And Dignitas do take 2 wins over Virtus.Pro, which does unfortunately mean that now Virtus.Pro is 0-6.
And I actually looked it up during the game. In both NA and EU in the last season, the last 2 teams, the 3rd and the 4th place team, had 8 losses.
Yeah.
So right now VP are at 6, and actually last season they were in the last place that wasn't leading to relegation or relegation matches. So they were at the last safe space with 14 losses. So clearly struggling in Pro League.
Online competition. It is a tough competition, that is for sure. What fantastic matches we've had tonight. Let's take a look at those results for the night. Of course, it did start off with Fnatic picking themselves up to pretty straightforward wins over on Cobble and Inferno, 16-5 and 16-7 over G2 Esports. And then, of course, confirmation of Virtus.Pro losing out to Dignitas 2-0. And that is 16-5 and 16-14. We thought for a moment we were going to get overtime in that one. You called it after that 2v5.
Yeah, I thought that this day will just keep on going forever for me, because it started off really early. But yeah, I thought they were going to get punished for that round, that it's going to come back and bite them. But it didn't in the end. There was a light at the end of the tunnel for VP, but sometimes that light is just a train.
It's a train wreck. I don't think it was a bit harsh to call them a train wreck, but there we go.
Listen, I don't have many puns, Lee. The ones I use, support me.
I'm just saying it's a little bit in poor taste with the wreckage last week, but anyway, we'll skip over that one. Let's see what we've got tomorrow before Yanko digs himself any deeper. Of course, we will be starting things off with Astralis versus Flipside, and then, of course, the big game. Envious up against Fnatic, a massive match to end the night on Inferno and Cash.
What? And this is not the Score Esports Hot Match of the Week? What is this?
It might be.
Oh, it might be.
It might be. Okay. We've just not got confirmation yet, but I'm glad you're on that one. You're on the ball. I'm pretty certain it will be, because I don't think you get much bigger than that one really at the moment.
Definitely. For me, this is probably... I mean, there are a couple more interesting matchups in the world of CS. Luminosity and Navi is my favorite one. Of course, we won't be able to see it until potentially the finals. But in Europe, yeah, these are probably the 2 favorites for the first place.
And that's, of course, if Navi get there, because they lost a couple of games themselves. Yeah. Of course, that is all going to kick off at 7 Central European time tomorrow. That will be in however many hours time from now, I don't know, because America will be starting off will be at 2 a.m. Central European time. That's around about 3 hours from now. If you want to tune in for that one, check out what the NA Pro League has for you with Creamy Moses and Co. And Blue, I'm guessing, will be bringing it for you. But
cut.
What?
Let's go to commercial. Stop talking about NACS.
What?
This will not end up.
Brutal.
This will not end up well.
Let's actually start a league in Brazil because they're better right now. But anyway, that is it for us tonight, guys. Thank you very much for watching. We will catch you tomorrow night, same time, same place.